Hey guys, it's Natalia and welcome back to another episode of Fashion Design 101. Today I'm going to be teaching you guys how to take in your pants at the waistband. I feel like this is a very common need for a lot of people, especially for women. I feel like pants are made at a specific waist to hip ratio and clearly not everybody has the same ratio. So I think that it's just a common problem for people to have to take in the pants at the waist, if their hips a little bit bigger or whatever the case may be, or if you are like me and just happen to buy this pair of pants at an estate sale, didn't try it on, realized they're way too big afterwards and wanted to take them in to make them fit a little bit nicer. I've got the solution for you. This method should work on pretty much any pair of pants. What I like to do is just take note of how things are made as you're undoing it. So as you're taking away the waistband, kind of notice where there's stitches. Some waistbands will have, you know, a few extra top stitches and things like that you might want to be mindful of when you're re-putting it back together after fixing it. For the most part, I feel like this should encompass pretty much all pair of pants. So yeah, that being said, let's get straight into it.
So I'm going to start on by trying on the pants and trying to figure out how much I want to take in at the waist. At the center back, I've pinned together roughly how much I wanted taken in, and I just put a couple of pins in place. This is obviously easier if somebody else does it for you than doing it on yourself, but you can do it on yourself like I did. Once you have those pins, we're going to want to see how much we're actually taking out and then use that measurement to center your pins around the center back. So I had to move them slightly because I did not center them properly when I was pinning them to myself, but I'm taking about 3.5 inches off. So that is what I'm doing. Now it's time to just start taking everything apart. So I started seam ripping the waistband open right between the two pins and a little bit after. I also took off the tag because it was going to be right in the way. So you don't have to do this, but it was just going to be in the way of where I needed it. So took that off. Then I detached the belt loop that was right at the center back, and I went ahead and detached the actual waistband from the pants as well. And again, you're gonna do this from a little bit before your pins start to a little bit after. Now I'm gonna mark with chalk where those pins are just because we are gonna be moving them out of the way. Take those two markings and put them right sides together and put some pins in place. This is where we're gonna sew our new center back seam. So this is on the waistband. Make sure it's the same measurement all the way down. We're gonna sew a straight stitch right there. And then for the actual pant itself, this is not going to be a perfectly straight stitch. This is going to be a little bit curved, kind of like a dart essentially. I marked the top where I want it to start, and then I'm going to curve the seam out to blend into the rest of the center back seam. So go ahead and sew that into place. Now we're gonna cut off all of the excess and only leave about 1/2 inch of seam allowance to play it safe. And then seam rip the little bit of the previous seam that is left on that seam allowance. And now we're gonna finish that edge off by serging it so that it's nice and clean. Now it's time to put the waistband back on, so we're going to match the center back seams and keep those open so that it's less bulky. Pin those down and then basically pin the rest of the waistband down all the way to where the original one is. And sew that down. Now it's time to finish off the waistband. Some of them are made a little bit differently, so follow the way that your pants are made, but for the most part, I would say that a lot of them are made this way. Basically, pin the waistband back down, make sure again to match all of those center seams, and we're actually gonna be stitching from the outside, so we're gonna be stitching in the ditch right on that seam, which in turn should catch the fabric on the other side. So it's gonna look hidden on the outside because we're doing it right in that seam line, but then on the other side, you'll see that the seam shows and it closes that waistband in. Honestly, you probably could have sewed down the tag before doing that step, but I kind of forgot, so I did it after. So I'm just sewing that back on and getting it back in place. And that is it for the finished waistband. It looks so nice and clean, looks like nothing ever happened to it. You can also attach the belt loop again, but I just felt like I didn't really need it because the other two were really close by, but you know, that is up to you and how much you took out.
That is it for today's tutorial. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know down below what else you want to see from me. I have an entire series called Fashion Design 101 where I teach you the basics of sewing, fashion design, pattern making, all the things. So let me know what you guys want to see on there and I will be happy to do it. And if you're curious on the other videos that I've done, I will have the playlist linked down below as well. So that is it for today's video. Subscribe for more if you're not already, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!